It's simply the depth. All I go by is depth. When I swap lipless crankbaits, I'll break it down to you like just how I see it. The red-eye shad Kevin throws can be outstanding. I've always done the best on it with 10 and 12 pound line. I can't throw it on big line and keep it down. So if I'm trying to fish 3 to 5 foot deep, shorter grass, Gunnersville, Toledo Bend, Rayburn, one of those lakes, to throw this bait right here, you're going to have to drop down on 10 pound fluorocarbon or 620 braid, because this bait doesn't run as deep. Now, it sounds crazy. I went to Gunnersville, I fished 2 days in a row. I'm throwing this bait on 15. I get one bite. I'm preparing for a little tournament up there. I swap over on tournament day, put it on 10 pound test, I got 24 pounds. I mean, it's that simple. It makes a difference on the line. The Yo-Zuri is one of the deepest running lipless crankbaits out there for the weight, for a ½ ounce. You know, you can put this on 14 or 12 and you can still reach the same depth you can reach with a red-eye shad on 10. This bait has a little bit louder sound if they're really active and the grass is thick, where I'm trying to rip it out, and I need more sound, I'll go for the Yo-Zuri. If the grass is kind of scattered, you know, and it's kind of deeper, this is a LV Max, the 500 by Lucky Craft. It's a weighted. It's a ½ ounce body and a 5/8 weight, but it's nose heavy. So it runs down like this, which in thinner grass you can do it. When you're going to throw a lipless crankbait, if you want to throw the LV Max, the 500, it typically runs with its head down. I like an old dog running. It runs this angle, where most lipless crankbaits run like this. It runs like this, because the nose is heavy. But if you throw that in heavy grass, you're going to fight it. Like a bad divorce in Alabama, you're going to fight it all day, because you can't keep the head at it. You got to rip it, and it'll grab on the head. Where if you throw a Yo-Zuri or a red eye, you know, the baits, Kevin says this bait flutters when it falls. I can't figure out how he figured that out yet, but he says it does. These baits, ooh, look at there. It'll run more this angle. The Yo-Zuri is going to run kind of up like this because the eye tie is further back. So a lot of what I choose to throw, it depends on the thickness of the grass and the depth I want to fish, and the sound. If the grass is really thick, I want to go for a little bit louder bait so they can hear it. One of the most common mistakes that I think I've made for years, and I see other people make with a lipless crankbait, is you just wind it in. The only thing you don't want to do with a lipless crankbait is just wind it in. I never catch them just, I catch them when I'm reeling like this, and I go, God, my nose is running. Oh, there's one. Why? I stopped it. It hit something. I'm throwing it, and I'm reeling along, it hits a stump, I'm like, oh, that felt good. Oh, good. There's one. It's almost like the more erratic it is, for the most part, stop and go. Even if the water's cold and I make a long cast on braid at Gunnersville and I'm ticking new growth grass, we call new growth, it's just 6 or 8 inches high, I'll keep that steady reel on it, and when I feel it hit the bottom every now and then, I'll just stop it. Then I'll start it back up, and I'll stop it. A lot of times when you stop it, you'll feel them grab it. So don't ever just get caught up in this rhythm, I'm going to reel it in. We do it out of fatigue and lack of concentration. We all agree? We get in this rut. I'm guilty of it. Going down the bank, you ain't had a bite in 4 or 5 hours, Lord, what am I going to do when I get home? You quit thinking. You're not trying anymore. Your mind quit, but your body has done this for so long, you can go through the motions. We're all guilty of it. So keep thinking about that. Stop your retrieve. Hey, jerk the rod. I mean, some of the best days I've ever had on it was ripping it. I mean, and I never stopped jerking. When I get home, I can't make your hands is beating yourself in the face when you're trying to eat dinner, because you've jerked it all day. I mean, I'll throw it in I've had co-anglers ask me, dude, are you having a seizure? Are you okay? I am wanting something to strike. So I'm fighting that bait constantly. I'll hop it up, let it go down, reel it in, rip it out of the grass like that. I'll try that 4 or 5 casts. If that don't work, I'll slow retrieve. When I hit a piece of grass, I'll rip it out, let it fall. Rip it out, let it fall. So you as an angler, try that more. Try to swap your retrieve up. Try to not have a constant cadence, because most of the time, that's not going to be your most effective bite. We all agree we throw the trap. We know how that is. I've done it a million times. Stopped to wipe my nose. It's freezing cold. Reeling it in, you're like, oh, there's a fish. Cling, 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 cling. All right, now here goes back to the Van Dam statement about luck. Y'all know what I'm talking about? He said, I don't believe in luck. How many times have I done that? And the only reason I stopped it at that particular time is because maybe my shoe come untied, or my nose is running, or the phone rang. You're like, oh, I got one. Now, it's luck, I guess, that I stopped the bait, but it's confidence and the ability to process information that move you forward from that point and say, that's how they want it. That's all fishing is most of the time, is retrieves. We all have the same baits. I have guys ask me, Gerald, do these companies make different baits for you? No. What you buy is what I buy. Now, do I have the ability at somewhere like Zoom to call up and say, hey, can you make me a black, purple flake, green tail worm? Yes. Why? Because I give the guy that pours the worms Lucky Craft lures, and me and him kind of got a little relationship going on. He needs some 1.5s, I need some black, purple tail, green worms. That's how that works. But for the most part, whether it's John's Spro lures, or it's Ike's lures, or it's a Lucky Craft when you see skeet throw it, those are straight out of the pack. The only thing difference is the retrieve. Most of the time, it's how you bring the bait back in. Presentation, presentation, presentation. Each day's like that. Have we ever had a day where we were all flipping down the same bank? You ever come in and guys like, man, I pitched a jig all day and I didn't get a bite. And you may have pitched a jig all day and you might have had 15 bites. Most of the time, you were either doing something different with yours, whether you're hopping it up, you're letting it sit, it's presentation. When I'm practicing for a tournament, I fish as fast as I talk and as sporadic as I talk. I may run down, I'm fishing the Open, the Southern Open. I fly back tomorrow to Orlando. I'll start practice Monday. I'll run out on Toho, I'll run down on one end, I'll throw a lipless crankbait, I get a bite, ooh, I get a bite, I pull the trolling up and never come back. I may stop, my next stop may be 40 miles down on Kissimmee. I'm doing the same thing. I get 2 bites, I'm all over the place. I'm looking for areas that's got fish in it, and then in the tournament, I'll come back and tweak my presentation, try to catch them. Got you what you need. You know, I think as a competitor, whether you're weekend fishing, you're professional fishing, you're a hockey player, whatever, you have to be willing to make that leap to be a winner. And that comes in small phases. Whether you're scared to take the shot because you're not properly prepared, or you approach a tree in a tournament and you're scared to throw up in the limbs because you don't know you're capable of making a cast. Have any of us ever been there? You get up to it and you're looking at it and you're thinking, oh, I'd like to throw up in there, but I better not. You have to keep pushing yourself to make that step, take that chance. Failure is only a building step to winning. If you can't accept losing and failure, and that's small pieces. It could be, I made a bad cast, I made a bad shot. You got to accept that stuff. I struggle with that. As you'll hear me speak, I have no problem opening up myself to you guys and letting you know my shortcomings because I know them, whether they're fishing, they're personal. Like I said, I am high-strung and high-tempered. I'm really easygoing, but when I'm provoked, I'm really stupid. I really am, and I try my best to work on that because in fishing, that's where you can't never be. You can never be on the edge of breaking. You always have to maintain composure. If you watch guys now, you'll see they throw them year-round. It doesn't matter if it's summer, spring. Well, it's naturally better in the spring. Fish are in the grass or, you know, they're kind of lethargic. Here these baits are rattling, rattling, rattling. They strike them. It's a reaction bite. It's an instinctive bite. Hey, here it comes. One of the most common things that we want to take out of is don't think that I'm going to do everything off water temperature. Fishing's not, we can write it in a book and hand it to you, you know, a theory of how to fish, but fish can't read. So you don't ever know when he's going to bite at 75-degree water. It's up to you to kind of keep mixing it up. So that's what you see as tournament fishing started developing. We fished it later in the year. Now it may be 85 degrees at Gunnersville, and I'll be throwing a trap. Now people be looking at you like you're crazy, but they bite it. They will bite a trap. But we're down at Toho, and it's hot, sunny, slick. The water temperature was 94 degrees. That's just before you can boil eggs. It's right on there ain't a drop of wind. The bugs are horrible. I caught back-to-back 5-pounders to make the classic on a rattle trap. It's actually, not gonna lie to you, it was a Yo-Zuri. I'm sponsored by Lucky Craft. I do think they make some of the most premium hard baits in the world. They have sunscreen, they have all this stuff on there, and y'all all know they cost a lot of money, but they're good. That's all we're gonna get into with that. But I throw everybody's. I'm not a fool. Sometimes a Yo-Zuri works better than a Lucky Craft LV7. Sometimes a red-eye shad works better than the LV100. So I'm throwing the Yo-Zuri. I caught back-to-back 5s. It's hot, sunny, and slick. You could read a book on the water. Then it was an eye-opener to me that it never give up on a trap.
Hey, I'm Pete Gluzek,
And I'm Mike Iaconelli.
and this is Bass University TV. Welcome to Bass University TV, an online video training course where you'll learn champion bass fishing techniques from pro anglers Pete Gluzek, Mike Iaconelli, and their talented special guests.
Everywhere I go in the country, I'm trying to use these techniques because I catch big fish that way.
From on the water to in the classroom,
we want to use that bait to help make that area even smaller and really find that sweet spot.
You'll learn sound techniques and strong fundamental bass fishing skills.
You want something that's got a nice limber action, that's going to allow you to build pressure and keep those hooks pinned against that fish's mouth.
Watch hours of video content on multiple topics at your own pace for a low monthly fee. Cancel at any time.
Hold on, because you're going to catch some big fish.
Information is power in the sport of fishing, so learn from the very best.
That's a key theory in all of fishing.
Subscribe to Bass University TV today.
Man, does it trigger a lot of strikes.
Here's the part that you're not going to hear anywhere else. This is the Bass University TV exclusive.